The Sultanate of Rum, also known as the Sultanate of Konya, was one of those medieval states whose legacy proved remarkably far-reaching and enduring. It arose on lands that for centuries had been the heart of the Eastern Roman Empire, hence its name Rum, meaning the country of the Romans. It played a decisive role in the Turkification and Islamization of Anatolia. During this period, a unique cultural and ethnic synthesis emerged, shaping the future face of Turkey and laying the cultural and political foundations on which the Ottoman Empire would later rise. The emergence of the Sultanate of Konya was not the result of a planned conquest, but rather the convergence of several historical processes. The weakening of Byzantium, dynastic strife within the Seljuk Empire, and migratory pressure from Turkic tribes pushing westward. The turning point in the Seljuk conquest of Asia Minor came in the year 1071, when the Battle of Manzikert took place. The defeat of the Byzantine army and the capture of Emperor Romanos IV Diogenes led to the loss of Byzantine military and administrative control over most of Anatolia. The fierce civil war that followed in Byzantium compelled various contenders for the throne in Constantinople to recruit Turkic military bands as mercenaries, thereby legitimizing their presence and allowing them to entrench themselves in Asia Minor. At the same time, the Seljuk Empire, having reached its zenith under Alp Arslan, the victor at Manzikert, and his son Malik Shah, was itself riven by internal strife. The founder of the Sultanate of Rum, Suleiman, belonged to a collateral branch of the Seljuk dynasty. His father, Kutalmish, had contested Alp Arslan's right to the throne and died in the struggle. As a disgraced prince with no prospects of power in Iran, Suleiman took command of the Turkic bands streaming into Anatolia. Acting at first as a Byzantine mercenary and later as an independent commander, Suleiman by 1077 had seized Nicaea, a city of strategic importance lying in the immediate vicinity of Constantinople. He proclaimed himself Sultan of Rum, formally acknowledging the supremacy of the great Seljuks in Isfahan to legitimize his conquests.
Inscribe your name among the honored in our hall of valor.
The first decades of the Sultanate's existence were a period of struggle to establish itself in a new land. Suleiman, the founder of the state, was killed while attempting to expand his dominions eastward into Syria, where he clashed with the army of Tutush, brother of the great Seljuk Sultan Malik Shah. His son, Kilij Arslan I, had to face a new enemy. In 1096, the First Crusade descended upon the Sultanate's territory. Underestimating the strength of the Franks and taking them for yet another mercenary army in Byzantine service, Kilij Arslan I suffered a crushing defeat. In 1097, the Crusaders and Byzantines retook Nicaea. Having lost the coastal regions and their capital, the Seljuks were forced to withdraw into the Anatolian plateau. It was then, in the early 12th century, that the capital was moved to Konya, a city far removed from the Byzantine sea routes and the armies of the Crusaders. In the year 1092, Malik Shah died, and a civil war broke out in the Seljuk Empire among his sons. During this time, regional sultanates such as Kerman, Khorasan, and Rum effectively turned into independent states. The Rum sultans emphasized their kinship with the great Seljuks to lend legitimacy to their rule, but in practice they were building an empire of their own. Kilij Arslan I brought almost all of central Anatolia under his control and tried to seize northern Mesopotamia as well, but he was killed in a clash with the army of one of Malik Shah's sons. The position of the Sultanate of Konya stabilized for good only under his son Masud I in the first half of the 12th century. Masud restored order after the turmoil that followed his father's death, successfully repelled the attacks of the Second Crusade, and began a program of urbanization and building in Konya that laid the foundations for its future flowering. This was further aided by the final collapse of the Seljuk Empire in the middle of the 12th century, brought down from the east by the Karakitai. The period from the mid-12th to the mid-13th century became the golden age of the Konya Sultanate. The state not only secured its own safety, but also emerged as the dominant regional power, a center of flourishing trade and high culture. The key military victory of this era was the Battle of Myriokephalon in 1176. Kilij Arslan II, son of Masud I, utterly routed the army of the Byzantine Emperor Manuel Komnenos. If Manzikert had opened Anatolia to the Turks, Myriokephalon finally buried Byzantium's hopes of reclaiming those lands. From that moment, the balance of power in Asia Minor shifted irreversibly in favor of the Seljuks. The Sultanate reached its greatest might under Ala al-Din Kayqubad I. This sultan was an outstanding builder and diplomat. Under his rule, the key ports were taken: Sinop on the Black Sea and Alanya, named in his honor, on the Mediterranean. Control over these ports transformed the Sultanate from an inland state into a maritime trading power. It was under Kayqubad I that the famous network of caravanserais was created, monumental fortified inns placed one day's journey apart. This system ensured the security of caravans and stimulated transit trade between Iran, Central Asia, and Europe. The cities of Konya, Sivas, and Kayseri became wealthy centers of craftsmanship and learning. Cultural life in this period experienced a remarkable upswing. The Rum sultans, though Turkish by origin, patronized Persian culture, which was regarded as the standard of refinement in the Islamic world. Farsi was the court language and the language of poetry. In Konya at this time lived and worked the greatest Sufi poet and thinker, Jalal ad-Din Rumi, whose teachings had a profound impact on the spiritual life of Anatolia. It was his followers who founded the Mevlevi order, also known as the Order of the Whirling Dervishes. The Sultanate's flourishing came to an abrupt end. From the east approached a new power, the Mongol Empire. After the death of Kayqubad I, the throne passed to his son, Kayqubad II, a far less capable ruler. In the year 1243, at the Battle of Crusades, the army of the Sultanate confronted the Mongol forces under the command of Baiju. Despite their numerical superiority, the Seljuk army, made up of disparate contingents, including Frankish mercenaries, was demoralized by Mongol tactics and fled the field along with the Sultan. The defeat at Crusades had fatal consequences. The Sultanate was not destroyed, but it lost its sovereignty. It became a vassal of the Mongol Ilkhans ruling from Iran and was burdened with heavy tribute. The Sultan's power in Konya became nominal. Real authority passed to Mongol governors and powerful viziers at court. Many regions were depopulated and the economy fell into ruin. This triggered a mass migration of Turkic tribes into western Anatolia, toward the Byzantine frontier, farther from the Mongols. It was there that the beyliks began to take shape, the miniature states of the future. When Mongol control began to weaken due to internal troubles in the Ilkhanate, the sultans of Konya were no longer able to take advantage of it. They were Mongol appointees with neither an army nor authority. Local commanders and emirs had grown used to independence and had no desire to obey Konya. The last sultan of the Seljuk dynasty, Masud II, died around 1308. With his death, the Sultanate of Konya ceased to exist. Its territory broke apart into separate Turkic beyliks, among which, on the northwestern frontier, was the seemingly unremarkable beylik of Osman, destined to change world history.
Lend thine ear, oath-bearer, subscribe, and be sworn to our enduring chronicle.